Let's talk about one of the strangest, most intense stories you'll ever hear. We're going to a river in the middle of the night for a story about a man who gets into an all-night wrestling match with God. Yeah, it's a wild image, right? But this story is so important. It gets at this huge question that people have asked forever. What does it actually mean to wrestle with God? And what happens when you do? So let's meet our guy, Jacob. He is at an absolute breaking point. I mean, he's been away from home for 20 years, and now he has to go back, and he is terrified. He's literally trapped between a past he can't return to and a future he's pretty sure is going to destroy him. So what does he do? He sends his entire family, everyone, and everything he owns, across the Jabbok River to get them to safety. He stays behind, all by himself, in the dark. And then, bam, a man appears out of nowhere and just attacks him. And they get locked into this brutal physical fight that goes on all night until the sun comes up. Okay, so you're probably thinking, who is this guy? Why is this happening now? Well, to get those answers, we've got to rewind a bit. We have to understand the life that brought Jacob to this one desperate night. You see, Jacob's entire life has been one big wrestle. This is a guy who has spent years and years running, scheming, and fighting to get exactly what he wants. His life has basically been one long con job. It all starts when he cheats his own twin brother, Esau, out of his inheritance. Then, if that wasn't bad enough, he tricks his blind father to steal the blessing that was meant for Esau. Naturally, this makes Esau want to kill him, so Jacob has to flee for his life. He ends up working for his uncle Laban for the next 20 years, and his uncle is just as sneaky as he is. But Jacob, being the master manipulator, manages to outsmart him and gets incredibly rich. And now, after all that time, he's finally got to go home and face the brother he betrayed. And get this, it's literally in his name. In Hebrew, his name, Yaakov, can mean heel catcher or supplanter. His name basically means he cheats, and man, he has lived his whole life proving that name right. So that's where he is now. He is completely trapped. Behind him is the uncle he just ran away from, but in front of him is the brother he wronged all those years ago. And the news he just got? Oh man, Esau is on his way to meet him with an army of 400 men. The text says Jacob is greatly afraid and distressed. Yeah, you think? And that brings us right back to the river. He's already prayed. He's divided up his family, hoping that at least some of them might survive what he thinks is a coming attack. And now he's facing this mysterious opponent. This isn't just some random brawl. This is the climax of his entire life of struggle. And you know what? Jacob is strong. He's been wrestling his whole life, remember? All night long, they are at a complete stalemate. The text even says that his opponent saw that he did not prevail against him. But then, everything changes in an instant. The stranger just reaches out and touches Jacob's hip, and it's immediately knocked out of its socket. This moment reveals this unbelievable power that was being held back the whole time. The fight was only a stalemate because the stranger was letting it be. So think about this. Jacob is now broken. He's crippled. He's in agony. He can't really fight anymore. But he does not let go. Instead of wrestling to win, he just clings on, refusing to give up. And as the sun starts coming up, the stranger says, "Let me go." But Jacob, hanging on in pure desperation and pain, says the words that change everything. "I will not let you go unless you bless me." And right there in that moment of being totally broken, Jacob is completely remade. He gets the blessing he was so desperate for, but man, it came at a serious, serious cost. First, his entire identity gets a reboot. The stranger tells him, "Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel." He's no longer the supplanter, the cheater defined by his shady past. Now his name means he who struggles with God. His whole identity is redefined, not by what he did, but by this incredible encounter. It's a new destiny that would one day give its name to an entire nation. And second, while he got the blessing, the physical damage was permanent. Jacob walked away from the greatest victory of his life with a limp that would never, ever heal. He'd be reminded of his own weakness with every single step he took for the rest of his life. And this points to such a profound truth. As Pastor Nate Holdridge puts it, God looks for people with a limp because it's what makes us dependent upon him. All of Jacob's pride, all his self-reliance, it had to be broken so that he could finally learn to depend on God's strength instead of his own.
So why does this weird, ancient story still hit so hard today? Well, because it's basically a blueprint for the struggles that all of us go through.
I mean, this whole thing is a metaphor for life, right? It shows us that real transformation, the deep kind, often only comes through crisis, through our breaking points. That true strength isn't about winning on your own terms, but about having the courage to admit you're weak. Think about it. Jacob prevailed not by overpowering his opponent, but by clinging to him when he had nothing left. And of course, his struggle, his new name, it all foreshadowed the long and difficult journey of the nation that came from him, the nation of Israel. And all of this leaves us with a final, really powerful question to think about. Jacob's greatest blessing came right after his greatest breaking. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What blessings are out there, waiting for us, on the other side of our own struggles? Blessings that can only come after we've finally been broken.